Howdy, Ayebawl here, and welcome to another episode of Factorio with Arumba's Angel Plus Balls mod pack. So, last episode we were working on that train depot, but then I got sidetracked with having to push the wall back and resetting up the original outpost. But we're back at the train depot, and now with that extra space and tired of me trying to guess, I go ahead and lay down some stone wall to actually use as a measuring device to see how much space I actually have between the bottom of the depot versus the top. So it turned out to be about every 48th block I would delete 49 to 50 and then place the new track there. So with this, it leaves ample space between each of the depots, leaving enough room for all the Angel's refining of the ore. Lay down the appropriate Angel silos, and I get all the train stops renamed. So when they come off the line, they'll go straight into a requester warehouse. So if I ever end up picking up any of the raw ore at any point of the process, I can just get rid of it and the robots will take it to the appropriate spot. I also go ahead and add 50% more of the ore crushers, and I redo all of the inserters from my previous setup. So before, I had the crushed stone on the outside lane. I took another look at it. I found that if I put the crushed stone on the inside lane, I can manage the pathing of it better. And with all the crushed stone that will be pushed through, each one is going to get its own red belt. So just make a copy. And we'll just push this on through. Make 5 more of them. With the reconstruction of the base, I'm only going to be using roboports right now, and I'm pretty much neglecting the charging stations. Now, once the base actually gets better built or rebuilt back up, because this is basically the final version. Um, there won't be any more rebuilding after this. Everything will be perfectly aligned, um, perfectly set up, evenly spaced out. So I'll never rechange the train depot again. The ore crushers will never get touched again. The flotation, the leaching systems won't get touched again. Now, there's still one more angel processing after the leaching system. So the ore sorters will probably get pushed just so I can add the next stage, which I think uses the thermal, actually uses the thermal water. But once everything finds its proper place, I'll then be adding charge ports for the robots. Basically at points where either a requester chest is at and an active chest is at, because that's where they'll spend most of their time. So since I'm not quite sure where everything is going to be put right now, sometimes I have to move a roboport out of the way. I'm having to space the output of the ore crushers so that each ore has its own line, because the amount of stone or crushed stone that these ore crushers produce, it's just enormous. It's a lot. So all this crushed stone will just be pushed up north and put into a warehouse that will quickly get filled up. Unless I run out of red belt, and then it'll just sit on the belt. So I'm replacing the cargo wagons with the Mark II versions, and then I'm going to place down the other trains for all the other train stops that are out there. And while I'm pushing the Angel refining process down the line, the trains can go ahead and um, stock up all the silos at each point that I've already finished working on. So I kind of had a little bit of power issue there. I think there's a disconnect between the solar panels and the boilers. But when I finished adding all the trains, I end up being at the north part of the base. I had a couple more power lines to fix that issue. So basically, I have a mining base for all the different types of ore except for the jovolite. But I do have some jovolite that's in the north part of the base, which will be basically belted over at some point. So I'm replacing all the belt with red belt. Pretty much done with yellow belt. So the warehouses will hold 160,000, but I set the limit to 170,000 just to make sure. So those two lines with the oil basically started to annoy me, and they've got to go. So I was wanting to readjust these lines. Eventually, they'll all end up going. But to make sure that I still have iron, I need this crushed seraphite heading back to the smelting area. And since I'm only going to run one line, I go ahead and remove two so that I still have so I can reuse the red belt essentially. And also go ahead and move the coal line down a little bit. This way, I'll have room for the Javolite. So the three nodes up there is the Starite, the Crotinium, and the Javolite. And I only have space for three, so it ended up working out. That wasn't planned. That just happened to be. Something got lucky on. So I want to hook up as much ore as I can so that it starts accumulating at each process, because it does take me time at each stage, because I want to reinvent it, make sure that it's at a good optimal, not what do I want to say optimal, but at least that it can handle all the resources that are being thrown at it. Like, for example, the flotation setup was not really automatic or self-helping. I always had to intervene either because of too much sulfur or not enough uh, water, or the sulfuric wastewater was accumulated too much, or the saline got backed up, or the saline water got backed up from the hydro plant purification recipe. but the flotation isn't until like later. So while setting up the Javolt light, I noticed that the light blue or the Starlight really didn't need 2 lanes of red. So I back up all the way, and eventually I get it set up right. But I have it as 1 lane red for the light blue ore, and then I put the Light on top of it. And just repurpose the line. That way robots can handle it. So I need to hurry back before the Javolite showed up. Otherwise, it's going to go into the wrong storage. All right, that should be all 6 of the ore resources now, all going through ore crushers. So we'll go ahead and stop it here, and I will see y'all guys tomorrow.